morning and welcome to Sea Fishing with CJ, and today we're on the beach. It is Wednesday the 13th of May and it's the first day of the relaxation of the lockdown, which means we can go fishing. So happy days. I know that Jason went out at midnight last night and was fishing from the very beginning of the day. I'm not quite so excited as that. I've come down from the bottom of the tide, which was at about 10:30, and I'm going to fish the tide up. See what happens. I'm on my own on this stretch of beach. I'm at Tidemills, which is Tidemills, Seaford. I suppose it's Tidemills, Bishopstone really. But nobody fishing here. If I look along to the east of me, however, down by the Buckle, there's half a dozen fishing there, and then there's sort of ones and twos further along the beach, all the way along as far as Splash Point, as it looks like. Weather's quite nice. It's not particularly hot today, but it's not cold, and we're getting little patches of nice sunshine. The wind is northeasterly, so it's quite breezy if you go inland, but here behind the shingle bank it's very sheltered, and if you look out at the sea, the sea's nice and calm. Not a lot of colour in the water, so that's quite good. So I'm hoping that we're not going to blank, but whatever if we do, we do. And with me, of course, is the ever-present Billy Bob, the vlog dog. He's down here enjoying himself out in the fresh air. He's been getting a lot of exercise recently, Billy Bob, so he's been going for our exercise walks every day, so he actually has lost a little bit of weight, so he's looking quite good. There are some people swimming, and there was one guy on a little jet ski thing just now, but he looks like he's gone, which is good because it was annoying. Right, so let's get on fishing. Okay, so we've had one little tug, robbed my bait, refreshed the bait, which is basically very dried out lugworm, and tape it. Because there's no grip wires on this, what I don't want to do is pull it back in. So as soon as I feel that I've got a bit of tension there, I'll just reverse wind it as I'm bringing in the rod, put it back on the rod rest. Right, next thing we're going to do, cook some breakfast. Get a little fire going, and I think I've got a nice big fat double yolker egg, another double yolker omelette in a burrito wrap. So there's my little fire. Resting the billy cans on. Bits of wood. Fire lighter and a lighter. Getting that going. I've got small bits of wood in the box which we'll put in there. Billy Bob, you keep your nose out of there because you don't want a toasty nose. And in the words of Brody Moss, we got fire, baby. Billy Bob's seen another dog. He doesn't want to play with you, mate. No, 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 no. So here we go. One very large, and I suspect double yolker, hopefully, because it's going to be a double yolk omelette. There we go. Good old chickens, never let me down. Double yolker. Lovely home produced eggs. Certainly don't get eggs in a supermarket this yellow, do you? And the pan is on the fire. Get some oil in the pan. That's the sound we like to hear. not easy to do one-handed. Bit of sausage in there. Bit of yellow to cook there, get that. Flatbread. Omelette on flatbread. Bit of Tabasco all over it. And while I'm eating that, wrap it up. Mmm. Get the kettle on. Billy Bob, come here. It's cool yet. Yeah. I actually wrapped up quite warm to come down here this morning, but do you know something? I'm getting quite hot now. I'll take this coat off. Really? You want some? All gone. Never need to do any washing up anyway. The dog does it all. Here, have a look. Get the egg out of there. Right, and the kettle's boiling. And the fire, look at those coals in there, it's red hot. Oh, can't beat a cup of tea brewed on the beach. It's red hot. I'll bring this rod in a minute and check the bait. So we've got a squid that's been tied on, but I've put a load of cart up inside the squid, so it's got a nice crabby smell coming off it. And then we're going to blast that out. It's still fairly frozen, so it's fairly robust, so it's going to thaw out whilst it's out in the sea. So we're fishing with my double pulley versatility rig. Okay, so it's a long flowing trace on the bottom pulley there. At the end of the trace, one of these reversed hooks that I've modified. So it clips in place, and then the bait at the bottom on a length of 50-pound fluorocarbon. And the way that we fish it, hook goes into the splashdown. So that's locked in place in the splashdown. So that's not going anywhere till it hits the water. The top pulley we pull down the swivel from the top pulley, and that clips into my modified bait clip. And then we've got our long flowing trace, which will, when it's released, will be what the hook's on the end of. So it's on a long flowing trace. When the water hits the splashdown shield, that releases the main hook. That then takes the tension off that hook, which releases that. The pulley pulls through, and we're fishing hard on the bottom with a long flowing trace. That's the plan. Few trawlers out there. Again, nice strong tailwind, so there's no need for long fancy casts. Just going to do an overhead thump, chuck it up fairly high and let the wind take it out. Finger fobs on, bail arms open, nice and high. You can see it speeding up as the wind catches it. 50 yards out. Feel for the grip wires actually engaging with the bottom. Alright. Here's the grip wires engaging with the bottom, and then just back wind it so that we're not feeding any more twists into the line. And I think I'll swap rods around. I think this is pretty much just to the left of this rod now. So we'll swap this one over. There we go. That and carry on drinking my tea. And then once we get a little bit of water on there, I've got a lure rod with me. I'm gonna have a few chucks with my homemade lures, see how they swim. Not holding that much hope of catching anything doing that, but one, helps pass the time. Two, I want to see how my homemade lures perform in the water. And the sun is shining. Yeah, baby! Time to fire out of the way. And the kettle out the way. And there's the professional boys going back in after obviously been out very early, I would think. Checking their pots, checking their nets, and heading back in to sell their catch. That's the mouth to New Haven Harbour, which is closed for sport anglers at the moment, but obviously the professional boys can still get out. Now, if you don't know it already, I'm the chairman of the small boat section of New Haven Deep Sea Anglers, which are based on Denton Island. If you want to get online, check out their web page, which is www.newhaven-deep-sea-anglers.com, and just have a look. We've got some nice pictures of fish caught last year and the year before, and various other bits and bobs. Worth a visit. And you know, if you're interested, give us a shout. We are always looking for members. And if you look at those pictures, there were some good fish caught last year. I think the winning fish for the catch and release competition was a particularly large spur dog. So we do try and encourage catch and release, although obviously you are allowed to take some fish home for the pot as well. I can't believe it, the sun is shining and I'm fishing. What more could there be? So we're going to have a little go with this spinning rod. Not because I particularly think I'm going to get much on a lure at the moment, because there's no structure here, it's not a particularly good place for lure fishing, but because I've been making some homemade lures and I just want to see how they swim before I start making some more. But before I do that, I've got to put a fluorocarbon leader on this. So we're going to tie an FG knot just to prove that you can do one on the beach. I'll do it a slightly different way, or a more traditional way if you like, which means I won't be able to talk while I'm doing it, and also I'll probably speed it up anyway because it's a little bit boring. Essentially, I've got the main line, I'm going to hold it in my mouth, I'm going to keep it under a little bit of tension with the rod, so the rod's keeping it under tension, because that's what makes the knot that much stronger. And so I can't talk anymore because the line is now in my again. So cross over, under, over, pull, 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 under. Leave that in the breeze for a little bit just to settle down. Well, there ain't a great deal of activity going on these rods. I think I better bring the baits in and give them a check. Which one shall I bring in first? Well, the last one out was the big one, wasn't it? So let's bring the worms in, see if we've got any bait left on there. I suspect that all the bait has gone. There's quite a few crabs here, which is one of the reasons why I thought this might be quite a good spot to come for smooth hounds, because smoothies do like the old crab. So here we go. Of course, I've been doing quite a few things, cooking and all sorts of things, not been paying attention. It could be a fish on the end of here. Coming up the other line, isn't it? Is it underneath it? Yes, underneath it. A lot more water underneath us here now. It's probably another 4 feet deeper than it was when we first got here. So if there's any fish going to be coming, they're going to start coming around about now, I figure. Which means I'll go over to my smelly frozen baits, I think. Well, I wonder how long we've been fishing bare hooks on there. Definitely been some activity, and even if it's just little stuff. So let's put some fresh baits on there and give it a go. You can see the worms that I'm using are well frozen. Been in and out of the freezer a few times, some of these worms, I think. But combined with a bit of, look at that, like leather, but they will revitalise, and on the day they will catch fish. Get a bit of sea goo in there. Something likes them because they've been eaten. The one thing's for sure, they will last on the hook a long time. dried out this worm. It's not feeding on the hook. So let's put a bit of sea goo into that, I think. So we've got some sea goo here, syringed up. Now, I mean, I don't say that sea goo is the be all and end all. I do know you can catch fish when you're using sea goo, so it doesn't scare the fish off, so it can't do any harm. But when you've got dried out bait like this, at least you're giving it some sort of scent that's coming out of the meat of the bait. Fill this up with sea goo. So this in as well. Blast that out, see if we can't catch something, even if it's a little dingling, just so we have saved the blank, as they say. Get the skunk out of the boat. Again, with this breeze, there's no need to be doing fancy distance chucking. Lob it up in the air and the wind will take it where I want it to be. Bail arms open, finger fobs on, wrap round my ring tip, all these little checks you should do before you cast. And that went a good distance out without any great effort at all. Do like these continental rods. I'll leave that one out for a little bit longer. It's got a whole big squid on it, hasn't it? With the finger fob around your arm and then just tuck the finger fob in out of the way when you're not using it. Right, how's this not looking? That glue's dry. Right, so this isn't the shot reader, so we don't necessarily need it onto the reel as such. It is onto the reel there. Let's take it back a bit. This is just so that the last bit to the lure is invisible because it's fluorocarbon. And then we'll put on one of my homemade lures. Let's have a look at these homemade lures. Out you come. This is the one. This is the Mark III. Mark III version. Still working out how to get the colours the way I want them. It's a little bit dark brown there, I think, but I'm getting there. Still, it's got a bit of translucence to it. What I think I need to do is just a slightly less dye into it. I've got the second line of glitter in there. A few bubbles in it though. And we're going to do a circle knot through the lead eye, which the lead hook, which is, or lead head. So first thing I need is a little overhand knot through there. Don't tighten it down too much. Through the eye. And you could use a link swivel for this, but I'm trying to get into the habit of tying this loop knot. It's actually a very simple knot to tie. So we go around 1, 2, 3. As this is £20 line, I'll probably go around through 4. Go around 5, why not? And then we go back through that eye, same way as it came out, and then pull those two ends together. Get a bit of spit on it. Now those ends together. Pull on the actual eye on the loop so that we make sure it's tight from that direction as well. Feed that down a bit, it's not, that's better. And then you've got a loop knot there, which just gives a little bit more freedom on the lure, so the knot isn't actually impeding the action of the lure. Get rid of the tag end. Don't want anything down the lure end that's going to hook weed, carry rubbish on it. Cause a little current in the water that makes the thing not look as though it's fishing correctly. And there we have it. On my little 3000M infinite anti-reverse Rovex Ceratec reel. Very impressed with this. It wasn't expensive. Got £20 one. That's £20 fluorocarbon on there, and then that's £20. I'll put the name of the line up. It's escaped me on the video. And let's go and give it a flick. See what happens. What could go wrong? I'm not expecting to catch anything, so what's going to happen? Our cast is out, first cast, and I'll land a hook into an £8 bass. Or maybe I'm just doing wishful thinking. But it casts all right. Oh, wouldn't it be good to go bang, even if it doesn't hook something, just to take. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. Pretty pleased with that. Oh, hang on. Maybe this time it's not gone so well. Watch the retrieve rate, haven't I? Let's try a slightly slower retrieve. It's not a blank. Tiny little dab. And somehow I managed to hook himself in the gut, but fish is a fish. He's going to go back because he's not really big enough to eat. So there we go, nice little dab. Tell it's a dab because of the lateral line's got that curve in it, and also it's the rough, and you run back up into rough that way, smooth that way, but that's that lateral line is the thing that really gives them away, and you can see through them. And there you go. Come on, swim. And he's away. So as tradition has it, got to do the dance, not a blank dance. Wipe the lens because it's really grubby. Microphones are still working, which is good. So we've not had a blank. Yeehaw! So that's the washing up done.